Nani ue minasan, it's your boy, and today we're going to talk about the sequel to my favorite series, Baby Assassins 2. That's right, this is a sequel. So if you haven't checked out my first review of the series, please check that out wherever the card is. But this time the girls are back, and I think much crazier than last time. And if you like the first movie, I don't think you're going to be disappointed with this one. And you know what? Before we even get there, please let me know. Have you seen this movie? Have you seen the series? Are you enjoying it? What are your thoughts? Because I think as someone who, again, super American, but someone who enjoys international films from all over the world, I really enjoyed this. I don't think this kind of film or these like this series of films gets made anymore. So I get really excited to discover them, especially in Japanese. Um, but let's jump back into the movie. If you remember in the first one, Mahiro and Chisato are odd couple assassins, and they're still trying to balance killing people and fitting into society. They're barely fitting into society, and the stakes are high. Because that's what movies do. Um, but the girls are dealing with new enemies, rival assassins, if you will. We get to see some of their male counterparts. Not only some of their male counterparts, to be very specific, their male counterparts who are not anywhere near as good as they are. Um, but still good. Um, and spoiler alert, they are these men are going to be nowhere to be found by the end of this. But but of course, the girls are struggling with their day jobs and paying rent and living life as someone more than hired guns. This is part of um, their secret identity, if you will. So it's imperative for them to continue life as they should do if they weren't assassins. One of the best things about this sequel is that it doesn't lose its quirky, awkward humor. I think it actually jumps right back into it and building with the cast that it had in the beginning. To be perfectly honest, in the first film, I didn't notice many of the other characters other than the handler and, of course, the enemies. The enemies, but I think with this film, they really solidify like this core group, this again workplace comedy that takes place with the handler, with the guy who cleans up, with the other woman who cleans up, etc. So um, I love that they're just building a world. So I think you can easily see why there's a third film and there's a series. Um, uh, yeah, Chisato and Mihara are still unchanged and chill and crazy as ever. Somehow, just wanting to get back to their food, back to whatever it is that they want to do, almost like indignant teenagers, I suppose, wanting to just do the things that they want to do, but in their case, they just want to eat food and kill people. Um, and whether it's bickering or trying to figure out how to take down enemies while being on the same page. I think it's the dialogue is really clear. I think the scenes are really clear cut, and it brings us from one thing to the other rather naturally. But one of my favorite things about this actually is besides the fact that the enemies are these rival assassins, um, but yeah, besides these enemies being rival assassins, and we kind of get a glimpse at what the other side is like. Because while I say they're rival assassins, they're actually in the same organization, and the reason why they want to kill the girls is because they want their spots as like being, like, if I'm not mistaken, like be essentially like a version of like freelancers to like a more permanent position. That's not exactly what it is, but essentially like they want to grow in rank. Um, and that's just really interesting to see like this agency, this organization has different levels of assassin, what it's like to be on different teams. I believe these guys are brothers, and with these fight scenes, I think they really make everything much more intense. And whilst the main problem and the main conflict are these brothers, I think the girls are not even aware of this until much later on, and they still have to go about taking care of business. And they have like these really, really great fight scenes uh, where I think, I'm not sure. My opinion on who's the better fighter switches each and every time. I think they both have really good times to shine in their fighting, and it's so good to see that kind of artistry. I think there's a behind the scenes documentary, and I would love to see how much training has gone into it, because I think one of the reasons why I love this is that it feels so natural and it feels so real, and it doesn't feel like, I'm sure they have stunt doubles, but it doesn't feel like it's just a bunch of cuts hiding the stunt doubles. It doesn't feel like it's not them doing some of the action. It feels like they are within this film and doing some of the stunts. I feel like I'm gonna watch the documentary and be completely wrong, but it feels that way. It feels grounded in that way, and not like it's not on the volume. It's not got this high production value of like a Disney film or Marvel film in like the worst way. It feels very not even like independent or raw, but it feels again kind of like how movies used to feel. And I think what I didn't expect was that there was actual character growth. From like there were still some goofy moments, but I think they have both matured even slightly in the way they go about things while still not being on the same page. I think they're learning how to balance not only their lives as assassins and citizens, but also how to balance being more in sync as assassins. And their bond as partners feels really strong. So, where does Baby Assassins 2 land us? Would I recommend it? Of course I would. Again, one of my favorite live action series anyway, and this gives me a lot more hope as I dig into more of the live action material, especially movies and TV in Japan, that like there's just a treasure trove of media that I haven't been able to consume. So if you liked the first one, you'll definitely like the second one. And if you have not seen any of the movies, like this is your warning. This is your flag. This is your sign to watch it. But if you haven't watched it, let me know. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite bit was. Uh, in the most American way, they have like a boxing dummy in their apartment that I call Dave for some reason, and I just love anytime Dave gets pounded on or tapped and whatever. So that's personally my favorite thing when I see them in their apartment and they're just like messing up Dave. So let me know what you think, and until next time.